everyone. More Barnstable This Morning is on the air. I'm Sarah Colvin here with our Interim Superintendent of Schools, Bill Butler. Bill, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you today?
I'm fine. You?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
So talking about an important issue today, of course, last Wednesday, the school committee voted to approve a new plan to increase the amount of security cameras in schools. So I want to talk a little bit about why this item was on the table.
Sure. The town of Barnstable has probably hundreds of millions of dollars invested in town-owned property, including school department property that's under the control of the school department. We have an obligation to protect that investment, and I think that's a primary reason for using security cameras on school property. This policy is a policy that was developed by the Massachusetts Association of School Committees at the request of a number of cities and towns around the Commonwealth. It authorizes the use of security cameras in school district buildings, on school district property, including buses and vehicles. We use security cameras on our buses routinely now, and this policy will authorize us to place security cameras in locations as deemed necessary, but not in any location in which there is a reasonable expectation of privacy.
Absolutely.
So we wouldn't put security cameras in private offices, we wouldn't put them in restroom areas,
right.
Areas like that.
Locker rooms, things like that.
Exactly.
And that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, obviously you said there are security cameras. I know that we in town, there are security cameras all over the place in the town of Barnstable. How are the security cameras used now, and will that change at all with the increased numbers?
I don't think it will change dramatically. Right now we use security cameras, number one, to protect our property from fire, faulty, malfunctioning equipment, vandalism. We also use the security cameras, particularly at the higher grade levels, for student discipline purposes. If students get involved in a fight or another type of altercation, frequently video recordings can sort out what happened.
Sure.
So we use them for those purposes as well. That's not going to change, I don't think. One question I was asked last week is, are we going to put cameras in every classroom? And the answer to that is no, we wouldn't do that to begin with, but secondly, it's simply cost prohibitive.
Absolutely.
This is expensive equipment, and we just simply don't have the resources to pursue something like that.
Indeed, and just with the sheer size of the high school, I think that being able to put cameras in all the hallways is an expense enough, and then add to that the classroom cameras, just monumental.
It is, and frankly, a good part of the focus is outside of buildings, because that's where typically you get vandalism and things like that.
Absolutely. So who is going to monitor these cameras? Who has access to the videos that they're being shot?
The superintendent or the superintendent's designee, or the building principal or the principal's designee. So we'll put together guidelines for how access can be had to the video. We'll include notices in student handbooks. We'll put signage up around the buildings so that the public understands that the buildings are under security camera surveillance.
Sure.
And I think everyone will have plenty of notice.
Now, do they record audio, or is it just video?
Just video, not audio. Audio presents issues with the state wiretap laws. Right. And so we haven't gone there.
Indeed, just the video. So in terms of if there is to be an incident, whether it be a vandalism or perhaps a student altercation, how are students held responsible for their actions that are caught on tape?
Well, the video is simply a tool, an investigatory tool for the principal. It's no different if there's a student altercation. The principal may interview students, interview witnesses, try to reconstruct what happened. and the security camera is simply a tool that the principal would use to aid him or her in that endeavor.
Absolutely. So what's the timeline at this point for installation of the new cameras?
No specific timeline. This is going to be a long-term project. I suspect it will require a capital improvement proposal, which will probably mean going into the next fiscal year after FY17.
Indeed. So the funding still needs to be in place for
I think
this.
it does, and we want to coordinate this with the town, and we certainly want to coordinate it with the local law enforcement as well.
Absolutely, and I think proactive to be able to put this plan in place before the funding is in place. I think that's smart. So often, sometimes you go forward with a project that you think is a great idea. I think I'm just using you in general, and then some issues come up, and it's like, okay, we need to develop a policy. Just have the policy in place, and then do the implementation.
I think that's right. So I think we're approaching it in the right way, and I think we'll do it thoughtfully, and I think it will enhance the security of our schools.
Absolutely. Are there any concerns that have been raised? Have you heard anything? I know this is relatively fresh, but any concerns that parents or students might have about having extra cameras?
I haven't. We over time we've had a number of concerns raised. For example, one was that if we put cameras in classrooms, which we don't, that we could use them to evaluate teachers.
Right.
And we specifically do not do that. Then we have issues with student records laws and student privacy laws when students are recorded on video, and there are rules and regulations that regulate that.
Indeed. Are there location priorities that when you start kind of rolling this project out, are there places that you say this is going to be first and then we're going to move on to here?
I think all I'd say at this point is our high needs areas would be the top priority.
So what do you mean by the high needs areas? Are those the hallways?
Hallways, areas where we've had incidents in the past, areas where we've had vandalism in the past. For example, we just had a recent problem with the new playground at the Early Learning Center, where the surface was damaged before it set, and we didn't have a security camera there. So we're rectifying that.
Great. Well, we'll look forward to the implementation of that. Bill, before I let you go, I wanted to talk a little bit about the continued superintendent's transition, the superintendent's meeting. Tell me a little bit about where we're at in terms of that.
Well, Meg Mayo-Brown is going to be actively involved in the budget process. She plans to attend several school committee meetings. We have a school committee meeting coming up the beginning of February where I will make the superintendent's initial budget presentation. I think she'll try to attend that meeting. Then we have a public hearing in March. I think she'll try to attend that. I've provided her with the budget materials that I have, and I think we'll work together to try to come up with an appropriate operating budget for FY17.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Bill, I thank you so much, as always, for joining us here on Barnstable This Morning. A pleasure to have you on the program, and we'll check in with you again next week. Or actually, no, we won't check in with you again next week. It's a holiday, so we'll talk with you again in 2 weeks.
That sounds great.
Great, thank you so much.
Thanks, Sarah.
Bill Butler is our Interim Superintendent of Schools, joining us here on Barnstable This Morning, and we're going to send you out to look at that gorgeous morning view at Osterville. We'll be back with the news here on BTM.